Hello and welcome to the Golden Wheel Tavern. It's so good to see you all again today. I am not alone this time at a spooky lighthouse. No, this time I'm back in the tavern, hanging out with one of our favorite people, the Bartender. How are you doing, Bartender?
I'm doing.
You doing?
How are you?
Any recommended beverages for this episode?
I feel like you're just doing that to make fun of me.
Not really. I was giving you an opportunity to just, say something ridiculous.
Oh, raspberry lemonade.
Okay, raspberry lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know, get yourself some raspberry lemonade. Other than that, on to the tavern's talking topic for today. We are going to be discussing tabletop versus virtual tabletop, or VTT, versus theater of the mind. This is a common point of order you have to figure out when you are going to play a TTRPG, because the medium through which you play is going to have a big effect on the game and the vibes therein. But we'll start discussing just tabletop. Bartender, what's your experience with playing tabletop RPGs at an actual tabletop?
It's always been a time. Usually a good one, but not always.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna say it's always been a good time. Then I remembered all the times that it hasn't been a good time. And that wasn't necessarily because we were at a tabletop, but we were at a tabletop.
So, the pros of playing at a tabletop are that you get to gather around a table with people you enjoy, most of the time. If you're creating your own group, you gather around a table with people you enjoy being around.
Most of the time.
And hopefully, if you're starting a new group with strangers, they end up being people you enjoy being around. Battle maps can either be drawn up on the fly or pre-prepared, and it is clear and obvious where everyone is in regards to each other on said map. The cons are that it's really easy to get sidetracked in person, space can be limited, and maps are usually less detailed because you need to be able to swap maps in person, and that takes more time and energy than the other two methods we'll discuss.
I don't know, I prefer tabletop.
Tabletop is a good option. I think it's the most prep heavy if you want to be really complete about it, because you need minis and you need different battle maps and you need this and that and some third thing physically in person.
I prefer tabletop for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
TTRPGs descended from war games like Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, I agree, work best with tabletop, or possibly the next one we'll discuss, which is virtual tabletops.
You have more experience with this one than I do. My experience with this one is solely for a play-by-post.
And me personally, I've played a couple things in VTTs. There are times our group did some stuff on VTT just because it was what was readily accessible and traveling was difficult at the time. So we just used a VTT. Main pro is ease of access. A lot of VTTs, or rather the big VTTs, usually maybe one person needs to set things up and then other people can get in. And then your battle maps can be very intricate, because they're essentially just files that you load in. So they can have very intricate features and lighting and fog of war and that kind of stuff. Once again, you can see where everyone is in regards to each other, which is vital for the wargaming style, right? The TTRPGs are descended from war games because spacing is so important. If your TTRPG says your attack reaches 25 feet and you have 30 feet of movement, that ability to see where everyone is in regards to each other is very important.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about this since I have never done VTT for an actual game.
When has not having experienced something ever stopped you from giving your general opinion on it?
Right now, and the other times that it has.
So, another pro of VTT is they are very good for streaming. If you are doing TTRPG streaming, you need someone who has access to and can use a VTT real good, because that is basically the standard nowadays for streaming, is a good, a nice setup VTT with everybody with reactives of their own characters.
I guess I don't watch enough D&D streams to know that was the standard.
Yeah, that is the standard now. It is either that or face cams for every player.
Yeah, so I have seen 3 D&D live streams.
Yeah, the standard is either face cams for every player or reactives of the character for every player. And a VTT. The more heavyweight ones, of course, like Critical Role, can get away with top-down camera of, the table.
To be fair, Matthew Mercer makes, insane tabletop.
Exactly. Tabletop, if you're going in on it, requires the most work, but then it's also very impressive in person. Versus you get people who are just VTT wizards and are really good at doing VTT stuff. The reason why VTT and reactives have become the standard is because they're so good for streaming, because then everyone can just be at their own computer. You don't need multiple cameras and everyone gathered in one place and multiple mics and dealing with crossover sound from mics. It's the easiest way to have all your friends get together, play D&D together, and just get away with setting stuff up and having interesting things on screen. A lot easier. VTTs have become the standard for streaming, but they do have their downsides. First of all, of course, they require everyone to have internet access and typically every player to have their own computer connected with a mic and maybe a face cam. And the fancier effects, as you've kind of alluded to, require a lot of work and understanding of how to set things up, and sometimes memberships.
Yeah.
A lot of VTTs will hide lighting or fog of war behind a paywall.
Shout out Foundry, which is a one-time fee for a lifetime license.
Mm-hmm.
Also, shout out Foundry because it's the only VTT I've ever used, and even if it's just for a play-by-post, it's the only one I know how to use.
Mm-hmm. And then the last con I want to point out for VTT is just there's less direct social connection. There's nothing quite like sitting around a table with a bunch of your friends and shooting the shit, and you can't get that as much with connecting online. Sure, you can have great conversations in a group chat online, but there's just a different dynamic in person.
Also, if you're a person who doesn't like to accidentally interrupt people, online fucking sucks because you can't tell when people are about to start talking, so then you just never talk, and that means you're not playing the game. And if you're not playing the game, are you having fun? No.
You can tell someone on this recording has had a lot of issues with being in online sessions and just feeling absolutely terrible the entire time because they feel like they're either being ignored, pushed to the side, or whenever they speak, they get interrupted.
Yeah, Ryan, you have trouble with that all the time. I don't, because usually if I'm in an online session, I'm the DM, so everyone shuts up when I speak.
Yeah, our Saturday group has never had online sessions that you felt bad about.
Nope. Never had online sessions that have resulted in me taking half a page of notes because I ended up tuning it out because I can't play the game.
Yeah, so, that social isolation, although it is nice to have that social connection, you are still isolated doing VTT. And that can cause issues. People can more easily tune out at VTT than they do at Tabletop. And if you're a person who plays a lot of TTRPGs, you already know how easy it is for somebody to tune out while at Tabletop.
Yeah.
Yeah, now imagine that person who tunes out a Tabletop at their computer. Oh, sorry, it's my turn? I was browsing a Reddit thread about...
Get out of the game! You're kicked out for being on Reddit!
Immediately kicks... Oh, sorry, let me choose something else. Sorry, I was going through a Tumblr thread.
Oh, that's fine, you're a fucking nerd. This is D&D. Who cares?
And last method of essentially laying out scenes I want to talk about is Theater of the Mind.
Theater of the Mind absolutely fucks for Monster of the Week.
So, I think we will, at the end of this, discuss systems and how system choice very much plays into it, because I think that's an interesting thing that I didn't necessarily put into the outline, and I do kind of just want to chat with you about that.
Okay.
Theater of the Mind is basically you don't have, maps or anything. Pros, it's extremely flexible. It keeps things light and moving, and it works in both in person and online. The cons are, it loses a lot of detail, it relies almost entirely on rule of cool, and it causes issues for players with bad spatial memory or bad visualization.
I'm glad you brought up that last one, because I was just going to say, yeah, and it's ableist.
Yes. So, one of the interesting things about Theater of the Mind is it very much just like punishes people with aphantasia, which is essentially inner eye, no visual imagery, no mental visual imagery. So if you're describing, it looks like this and these people are this far apart, the bartender can't picture that.
Let me try.
You enter into a cavern, an opening in this cave, a large, large cavern. Pink and blue crystals seem to have formed.
I need you to slow down. I'm still at an opening of cave.
Okay. So the cave tunnel opens to a large cavern. We're going to say 60 feet across.
See, I need you to stop adding more
circular.
things for me to...
Okay.
You need to shut up. I'm still trying to imagine the entrance.
Okay. Let me know when you pictured a cave tunnel opening to a larger area.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I'm gonna have to quit the campaign.
Damn. And that's how it would go.
Yep.
Not really. But Theater of the Mind is extremely flexible because whatever you describe is there. And it, in fact, allows for some really fun and interesting things. Like, once again, when we get into system discussion, we will discuss it. But the idea of letting players add things to a scene. Keeping things undescribed, and then as players say things, those things get added in type scenario. It's extremely flexible. It keeps things like moving. But, for example, there are at least 2 players in the Bartender's D&D group who cannot do Theater of the Mind.
Yeah.
The theater is shut down up there. Nothing's going on.
Not for me, though. 2 other people.
Oh, okay. You've got a fully functional theater up there?
Yeah, we just don't have a scenic department or a costume department.
Oh. Or any
actors.
The 3 main things, Tabletop, VTT, and Theater of the Mind, all have their pros and cons. They all have their ways that they make things easier and the way they make things harder. But an important distinction is your system as well. Different systems have different requirements and will work better with one or the other. For example, as the bartender mentioned earlier...
Hello?
That was me passing it off to you.
It did not sound like that! You are very bad at having your tone sound like it is leading somewhere.
My bad. Here, we'll take it again.
Okay, take it from the top. So, way back to the opening.
Well, not from the top, okay? Some systems work better with other things. What your system requires is important. Certain systems will work better with Tabletop than with VTT, and so on. For example, as the bartender mentioned earlier,
Theater of the Mind fucks with Monster of the Week. Not fucks with, it messes it up, but it's really great for it.
Stuck the landing. Nailed it. So why do you think Theater of the Mind works so well with Monster of the Week?
Because Monster of the Week is a rules-light system that doesn't have a battle map attached, or any specific requirements for fighting attached. It's just, hey, Keeper, I want to punch that guy. Okay, roll tough. You got a 10? You sure as hell punch that guy. How do you punch that guy?
So, there is... I can't remember the 3 categories, but it's narrativist and 2 other things. It is a discussion of types of games, right? Narrativist and simulationist are the big 2. And more narrativist games, such as Monster of the Week, work really well with Theater of the Mind because, as you said, Monster of the Week, really rules light. For example, the weapons don't have 15 feet of attack. It's no, is it close? Is it medium? Is it far? Is it intimate? Is it hand? How close are you? It's vibes based, basically. It's not simulationist. It's about telling a story. And those games that are focused on telling a story rather than building a world, building like a consistent world, work really well with theater of the mind. So your monster of the weeks, I would probably say Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Basically any Powered by the Apocalypse game. Any of your silly super rules like indie games like Honey Heist, definitely Wizards. Hell, the micro TTRPG that I made, and you can find on itch.io/The Tavern Keeps Guide, The Eyes Have It, that works really well with Theater of the Mind. Even the other one I made that's about like dungeon crawling works with Theater of the Mind because positioning isn't like direct, it's the vibe of positioning. It's are you frontline or backline? Versus your more simulationist games like Dungeons and Dragons or Pathfinder work better with tabletop. Yeah, pay attention to what your game needs and think about whether it's narrativist or simulationist. Is it trying to create an internal consistent world with certain like the combat has to go this specific way and you need to keep track of these specific things? Or is it more you say what you want to do and the rules kind of flow around to absorb that? We should possibly discuss the idea of narrativism versus simulationism at some point.
Maybe.
But, talk to your players as well. Let's set that out there. Talk to your players, right? I know that I will never run something that is gritty as Theater of the Mind because I know at least 2 of my players could not handle that. I'm gonna assume a third would struggle.
Anyways, do you want...
Quiz Bowl.
Do you want an easy question, a hard question, an easy question, a hard question, a hard question, or a hard question?
Let's save both the easy questions for the extra content.
Well, I think that last one might actually be a medium question. It's about
ghosts.
Oh,
it's about psychics?
Before they called themselves Vox Machina, what did the party from Critical Role call their group?
Was this mentioned at all in the show?
I don't remember. It's been like a year since we watched.
Oh, okay. The Crepusculars.
No, Super High Intensity Team.
Oh, boo.
In what 1984 UK module are adventurers sent by the sage Shalfei to retrieve a recently fallen meteorite that he calls a shooting star?
The sun never sets on the Astral Empire.
UK 4 When a Star Falls.
Oh, okay.
In Dragonlance, what is Taika Waitlin's weapon of choice?
A halberd.
A frying pan. And then this should be the easiest one out of the ones that I've given you so far, since I think I would classify...
Yeah, it'd be kind of difficult for them to be any more difficult.
Not really, they could be more difficult. But this one I think is like a medium difficulty.
Okay.
What is the name of the lost mine located near the town of Phandalin, near the Sword Mountains in Faerun?
Wait, is it not just Phandelver?
No, it is.
Oh, okay. I was like, they can't just be asking, hey, what's the name of our, intro adventure for 5e that we pushed on to everyone? But apparently it is Phandelver.
Yeah, but that's all I can give away for free. Sorry, pay me $5 if you want to know the rest.
Speaking of paying $5, that is referencing our Patreon at patreon.com/The Tavern Keeps Guide, where at $5 or more a month, you can get extra content, such as a cold intro, cold outro, and the kind of side talk and whatnot that doesn't quite make it into the actual podcast. So if you go there and support us for $5 or more a month, you get that. There are some other benefits at higher tiers. And if you don't have the liquid assets to support us in that way, honestly, the best way to support us is by telling somebody else about the show. Going and telling other people about us gets us more listeners, and getting us more listeners gets us more growth. More growth means more listeners, and it feeds into itself, on and on and on, and the podcast grows. And that's what we need more than anything else. So really, telling other people about it, kind of better than money. If you want to support us online, you can go to our various social medias. The Tavern Keep on Blue Sky, the Tavern Keep's Guide on Tumblr and Mastodon. There's also a TikTok. I may cut this part out because I don't know if I want to point people to the TikTok. There's nothing there.
There could be.
There could be. Go to the social medias, boost us in the algorithms, like, share, forward things, whatever, reblog, whatever the terms are on whatever social media you're seeing us on. Help us get out there. That really is important to us, and that is one of the best ways you can help us, honestly. If you're watching the YouTube upload of this, hit the like button, leave a comment, interact in some way. It's really important because we're looking for growth right now. Honestly, that means so much to us, as does every single one of you who is listening. We appreciate each and every one of you, and as always, make sure to tip the barmaids.